Okay, guys, we good? Just real quick, looking back at Tennessee, 9 second half turnovers, 19 second chance points, kind of was the difference. Man, we did a lot of good things in the game. Once again on the road, had a chance, and kids really competed, and so obviously we're disappointed. But those were a couple of factors there. Get ready to play Mississippi State. The challenges, Mississippi State, Mo and I was a first team All-SEC guy. Garrison Brooks was preseason second team. Tolu Smith was one of the leading rebounders and one of the best front line players coming in. DJ Jeffries, a great transfer from Memphis. Moore for a transfer from NC State. It's good. It's a good roster, and it's a roster that everybody kind of thought could be, a roster that could make some noise this year. And in many ways, they have. They're 52 in the net, which puts them in that bubble range. And obviously, they're looking at this as an opportunity to help get them in a tournament because of the math that a game like this presents to them. They do a couple things that really, really well. They're second in the league in field goal percentage, and they do a great job with their 2-point field goal percentage because they do a great job getting the ball to the rim, getting the ball inside. And probably the most alarming thing about them is that they score a very high percentage of their points from the foul line. They're 14th, I think, in the nation in free throws made, and they're 11th in the nation in free throws attempted. So they get the ball inside. They get it inside, and no question that foul trouble and will be a challenge for us. And we have fouled too much in league play. Teams are scoring 24% of their points against us at the foul line. And so it's great to be able to block shots and be aggressive defensively, but we've got to be able to do it, without fouling. And then ourselves, we've got to be able to do a better job of getting ourselves to the foul line. So that's a challenge against Mississippi State. They shoot it so well from two. They got a great post-up game. They got guys can really get downhill. They don't shoot it well from three. And that would be their one offensive weakness, but neither do we. Questions?
All right, Coach, we can start with the question from Nathan King.
Bruce, you talked about some of the issues y'all had on the glass after the game. Just when you went back and looked at it, was it schematic? Just kind of what did you see were y'all's issues there? And then how much of an emphasis is that Mississippi State second in the league in rebounding rate?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure where they're at. They're in the top 3 or 4. I don't know that they're 2. In rebound margin, I think they're 5. I know in scoring margin, they're 5. I mean, that's pretty significant that they've won them close and they've lost them close. There's been a lot of close games and, lost in overtime at Kentucky, so it's a really good team with a lot of experience. They rebound about 33% of their misses. So does Tennessee, but Tennessee got 50% of their misses. I think part of the issue there was Tennessee's ability to get downhill and draw help, and therefore the backside rebounding was compromised, and so obviously it was a lot of long shots, a lot of long rebounds, a lot of 50-50 balls. Their guards got them. We didn't.
Justin Hokanson.
Hey, Bruce, just talk about the importance of, you guys have led the standings in the SEC all season, and what would the importance be and the significance be to winning this regular season championship outright versus having to share it like a few years ago?
Well, I'm not even sure. First of all, we're in position to win it. And so we want to take advantage of the position we worked so hard to put ourselves in. None of this None of this was given to us. When you guys see Mississippi State up close and personal, you look at them and say, well, boy, they beat Arkansas. They took Kentucky to overtime. They were in last possession games to Tennessee. They'll line up against anybody, and they'll line up against us. We could find ourselves in the middle of the league this year and still be a really good basketball team, but we're not. We're on top of the league because of the job that the kids have done. So, sir, we would absolutely. This is what you play for. I place a greater value. I have many. You guys have heard us say this many times. The regular season championship of the SEC to me is the greatest prize. It's not the tournament, because the tournament is 3 or 4 games. And I know what happens in March. You win 6, you win a national championship. But in order to win our league this year, a year where the league is as good as it's probably ever been, that's historic. So how important it is to make history around here, it's the first thing you see when you walk into our locker room. So it's pretty important.
Tom Green next.
Hey, Bruce, after the game the other day, you mentioned that with the bench production, guys can't be afraid to fail. Mm-hmm. Have you seen any hesitance from the reserves the last couple of weeks? And just how do you kind of address that coming off of a game like that?
I thought we had great performance against Ole Miss. My guess, if I looked at had Marlene do a little bit of run, my guess is on the road, the bench may have struggled a little bit. We all kind of struggled a little bit. But Arkansas, Florida, Tennessee, our last 3 losses, I bet you we don't get a ton from the bench. I think that I just think part of it is, they're good. They're really good teams. And what the records of the top teams in the league are at home. And Mississippi State's 7-1 in the league at home. They're 7-1. So if you throw them into the group of Tennessee, Arkansas has lost 1 game at home. That was to Vanderbilt. Mississippi State's lost 1 game at home. That was to Tennessee. We've not lost at home yet. Kentucky's not lost at home yet. Tennessee's not lost at home yet. So you take those 5 teams who are the top 5 in scoring margin, and the record might be 70-something and 2. They're hard to get. So yeah, the bench is important for sure. And I think as far as being afraid to fail, one of the things that we talk about it as a team. We talk about it. You got to make plays. So defensively, you got to turn people over. When you go down and double the post, you got to go get it. You just can't go double the post. When you rotate, you got to take a charge. We don't have enough guards that'll take charges. So these are things, our playmaking. We always think about making the shot, but you certainly can make plays on both ends of the floor to affect winning.
Justin Ferguson.
Bruce, you talked Saturday about your guards staying in front of their guards against Tennessee and how difficult that was, how you guys had to challenge in the second half. When you face a guy like Molinar this week, who's really good at getting to the line and really good at getting to the basket, just, what are you telling your guys ahead of this matchup?
Yeah, he's great. He's the 3rd leading scorer in the league, preseason first team, really good getting downhill. And, we'll study him on film and we'll do the best we can to try to stay in front. I thought in the half court, our guys did a pretty good job staying in front of Tennessee. Look, from my standpoint, you hold Tennessee to 67 points at home and they shoot, 32 or 33%. Man, you just can't fault our kids' effort, right? You just can't. 67 points, 33%. Now Tennessee's a good defensive team. We had a hard time scoring. We didn't take care of the ball, and they killed us on the boards. But even on the boards, it wasn't just about our effort. Our effort was good. They were just quicker to the ball. So we got to work on trying to stay in front.
Go to Mark Murphy next.
Hey, Bruce, with Tolu Smith back from Mississippi State, who was out a lot of the season, is that going to be a tough matchup for you guys inside and for Walker in particular and Dylan?
Yeah, no, he's played in 16 games. So he's played in, more than half their games. He's a load, and he can really score down there. And they need him to score. They like to go to him. They'll post him up. He shoots 56%. He does a great job of getting to the foul line. And there's no question they're going to try to go at Walker and get him in foul trouble. So defending the post against Mississippi State is a big part of defending Mississippi State. Like we said, they're so good from two. Guards getting downhill. Garrison Brooks, Garrison's a terrific player. It's great to see him back playing for his dad and down at Mississippi State. And I'm sure they're having a wonderful experience, with that. Garrison was a guy that we tried to get out of high school. Would have loved to have had him from North Carolina. And he's a local guy that's done really well.
Bennett Durando.
Bruce, they'll sometimes play at one of the slowest tempos in the country. How do you prepare for, a team that's going to try and slow you down, make it as much of a half court game as possible? Do you try and take them out of their comfort zone a little bit, or where do you go with that?
Yeah, I mean, if you could try to speed them up a little bit without fouling them, extend your defense a little bit. But at the same time, you can't at home, they're going to be better attacking pressure. They're not going to turn the ball. They don't turn the ball over very much. They'll get a shot off before they'll turn it over. And so we'll try to speed them up a little bit, but really when it comes to tempo, a team that wants to slow it down can control tempo way more than if a team likes to play fast to try to speed them up. So it's going to be one of those games we probably going to have to, play at their tempo.
All right, guys, got time for two more. We'll go to Brian Matthews next.
Yes, Bruce, the high pick and roll with Kessler that's gotten so many lobs. How hard have teams sort of worked to take that away from you? Are there any adjustments you can make to sort of get that back or get him in better position to be more of an offensive threat?
It's a big part of what our offense is, and it's a big part of, how our teams are guarding you. I think that, everybody plays a little differently. You got to take what the defense gives you. And look, obviously, we spent a great deal of time putting, whether it be offensively, putting guys in the best possible positions. We know what they could do. We know what they can't do. And so what do you do as early on as you possibly can in order to win the teams, in order to win against the schedule we played? We put our best foot forward. And so now in obviously in scouting, they got an idea of, man, this coverage bothers this guy, or, this is how you guard this guy. This is what his tendency is. And now the interesting thing is take Jabari. All right. You can understand his tendencies all you want. Everybody will recognize what a great player is. And 3 out of the last 4 games, he's obviously put up great numbers and scored. And so, in that case, it really doesn't matter. With the great players. And that's what we all work towards. We all know that when the scouting report's out, can we have something else to go to? And that's what we do work on. That's how players go from being good to great. And so do teams.
I'm going to finish up today with New Bias Wilborn.
Hey, Bruce, hope you have a good day today, man. What did it mean to you guys having Coach Harsin come and kind of ride with you guys and be there last week? So I asked you after the game, figured it wasn't appropriate, but just talk about just the kind of bitter relationship with him and the relationship that's going on between the athletic department at Auburn. Thank you.
Man, it was great having Coach Harsin along. We had a good group of donors that traveled with us. We had another great crowd at Tennessee. We could hear them up in the rafters, and we appreciate it so much. Obviously, we're trying to get a great crowd down at Mississippi State, have an opportunity to again play for championship. But it was great to spend time with Hars, and he sat in on a few things just to kind of watch us work a little bit. And it was I also let some of our donors and people like that come on a trip with us, we'll let those guys get behind the scenes a little bit. And I'm sure it was fun to see some things unfold the way you want them to unfold. And then, you hear the game plan and you see them unfold the way you wouldn't want them to, so the game plan is one thing, the execution is something else. But it was It was great. It was a really cool thing to spend a little bit of time with him. And you know, as you guys know, I will travel to at least one road football game every year. And I enjoy that, and look forward to getting on the road with them next year.
Can I follow real quick? What is it like sitting in the stands at a road game like that?
When I'm watching a football game?
Yes.
You know, it's a little different. I think people are surprised to see me out there sometimes. I remember when I was at Tennessee, Tommy Tuberville and Philip Fulmer were playing against each other. I know it was Phillips last year. It very well may have been Tubbs's last year. It was a game that was like, you know, neither offense could do anything. It was like a silly, like a 15-12 ridiculous score. You guys might remember, but I run into more Auburn fans that say they remember seeing me when I was Tennessee's coach at the Auburn football game. And man, it's just, you know, I just try to fit in, put a hat on, yell and scream like anybody else. Just try to enjoy it.
All right, Coach, we appreciate it.
Okay, guys, thank you.